So as we are looking for all horizontal asymptotes, that means we're looking for both the limit as x approaches infinity, because that's going to go to the right, and the limit as x approaches negative infinity. Well, that's going to go to the left. And so this is one where it's really hard to figure out what's happening. So instead of doing anything crazy and trying to figure out exactly what's happening, I might just plug in a big number and a negative big number and see what happens. So on my calculator, I'm going to try 5 1000 squared minus e to the negative 1000 all over 2 minus 5 times 1000. Just so you can see what this looks like, we're going to use parentheses. 5 times 1000 squared minus e is this little blue above ln, so I'll do second e, and then I'm going to do negative 1000. Arrow down, I'm going to hit parentheses, and I'm just going to hit equals to make sure that this isn't such a small number it doesn't show up. Okay, so it's that really, really big number. Then we're going to go divided by what was in the denominator. 2 minus 5 times 1000. Okay, well that's a really small number. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just plug in one more set of zeros and see if it changes things. So up here, I'm going to insert another 0. Second, insert. We'll do 2 more zeros just to see how the answer changes things. Second, insert 2 more zeros here. So my numerator is now bigger, and I'm going to divide by parentheses 2 minus 5 times, instead of 1000, I'm doing 2 more zeros. And so now my answer used to be negative 1000. But now do you see how it's negative 100,000? So it's getting closer and closer to negative infinity. So that means my graph is doing something like this. So that's not a horizontal asymptote. But now I need to do the same exercise as x approaches negative infinity. So we will have 5 parentheses negative infinity, or I'm sorry, negative 1000 squared minus e to the negative 1000 all over 2 minus 5 times negative 1000. So this time I'm going to plug it in my calculator again. 5 parentheses negative 1000, close my parentheses, square it, minus e. Well, now I have 2 sets of negatives, negative and negative 1000. I will close that parentheses, and I'm going to divide it by 2 minus 5 parentheses negative 1000. Make sure I have a set of parentheses for that one, so I need one more. it equals overflow. What that means is this is too big. That's infinity, but let's just go back so that you can have confidence. We're going to do a goto. Instead of putting in 1,000, it was just too big a number. I'm going to plug in 100 instead. So that's 100. That's now 100. And this will now be 100. -5. Let's pull that back up and copy it in. This negative sign means I'm going to be negative, and that huge number means we're actually negative infinity. So in this case, I had the answers of infinity and negative infinity. So that means my graph is looking something like this, and there are no asymptotes. So we would put none in there in our drop-down menu.